You know, Americans are facing a huge financial struggle, especially since the pandemic began last year. In fact, look at the studies. It shows that 1 in 4 adults have had trouble paying their bills since the coronavirus outbreak started. A third have even dipped into their savings to make ends meet, and about 1 in 6 have borrowed money from friends or family, or even they've gotten food from a food bank. My man, Dr. Orden, is in the house joining me for the ride all day today. What's up, Drew?
How are you, Ian? Great to be here. You're right. We've got a great show today.
That's right. You know, Drew, it's so important. People are struggling financially. They're struggling to get food. Joining us today to help crush those money goals and pay off all of that debt is our debt cheerleader, Bernadette Joy. Bernadette, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Bernadette, you say people can actually save money even when the financial times are uncertain?
Yeah, and so while this is an extreme case, obviously with everything going on in the world, when has anything ever been really certain in our lives, right? There's always some degree of uncertainty that we have to deal with. And so while this is, a case that none of us have really seen before, there is still always uncertainty in our life, and we have to learn how to manage despite the fact that everything is not always going to go the way that we expect.
One of the mistakes that people make when they first want to approach their money goals, what should they be doing?
Yes, one of the mistakes that I see people make so often is they think too far ahead, right? And we see it already in this year. Everyone's like, okay, it's a different time, it's a different year, but we have no idea what this year is going to bring us, right? So what I tell people instead is focus on what you can control within the next 30 days. Generally, you know what your work is going to look like in the next 30 days. You know what your expenses are going to look like in the next 30 days. And let's just get, those 30 days focused on, and then we can work on the next one.
Good stuff. And Bernadette, why is mindset so important when it comes to managing your money?
I figured out over the years that traditional financial services will have people believe that money should be complicated and stressful. And I actually believe that money should be exciting and fun. Otherwise, we're not going to want to do it. So I figured out for myself that when changing my mindset, my husband and I were able to pay off $300,000 of debt. But also in 2021, we're going to be hitting our first $1 million of net worth without inheritances and without schemes.
Wow. That's, first of all, that's a lot of debt to pay off pretty quickly. And then getting to that big 7-figure mark, that's a big deal. We're living in uncertain times. It's tough to keep up with the latest medical headlines.
About the market, panicked about COVID.
And how do those headlines impact you and your family?
100,000 people died.
On season 13 of The Doctors, we want to empower you physically.
If I met them at dance, they would meet me at medicine.
Man, I love that. Emotionally.
If I can change my thoughts, I can change my feelings.
And medically.
He doesn't have his mask up, which is not a good thing.
This is the $1 million question, maybe the $1 trillion question. This is so critical for people to hear. We're giving you the inside track on health and wellness so that you can get back to the life you deserve. It's time to take back your power. The Doctors, now more than ever. Premieres September 21st.